So I thought about, like leadership, and I was like, who's the perfect guy? I can't think of anyone that manages more people than our next speaker, which is Ku. So Ku and I, we've known each other since we were like 15, and I used to bully him, beat him up, and all that stuff. No, I was just joking. But yeah, we grew up together. We didn't really like hang out, but we knew of each other, and we've seen each other throughout the years. But Ku has really done something that most people have not done, and so I'm honored to have Ku here. He's going to come and speak on, I'm hoping, leadership and building teams. But he's going to tell a little bit more. But for someone that grew up here and then in a small town, Hickory, and then worked his way up from, I still remember, like a stalker at Walmart, right? Working from Walmart all the way to supervisor to management, and then now managing. Right now he's managing Dollar Tree, but Dollar General. Sorry, competition, right?
Yeah, competition.
How many stores?
210.
210 stores that he's over at Dollar Tree.
General.
Dollar General. Hey, I'm getting old, so my memory's not there anymore. But he's gonna tell more about that. But I'm super happy that he agreed to come and talk about it. I think our community needs that leadership. Our community needs to be able to lead a team. We've seen it in our own businesses. We don't have that customer service, and I want Ku to come up here and share his experience, and so give Ku a warm welcome, and he can come and share his experience.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, so I want to do a couple things first. I want to thank Lou for setting this up. You guys, give this guy a round of applause. He is probably one of the hardest working networking individuals that I've ever seen. So really good job. I think what you do to bring the community together, bring businesses together, it's really, really good for us. So thank you for that. Okay. Do want to thank all the sponsors as well. You guys, man, the food was amazing. What you guys do for the community means a lot to all of us. There's lots of us here that are going to learn a lot tonight. I'm here as a speaker, but I'm going to learn a ton more from being out here with you guys than you will learn from me. Okay, so we're going to learn together. We're on this journey together. Okay, so I only have like 92 slides, I think. So we might be here, it's like 7 o'clock, so maybe like by midnight we should be wrapped up, okay? You put a microphone in a manager's hands and it gets kind of dangerous. So tonight we're gonna just briefly talk about who I am, right? Who's Ku Yang, and then we're gonna dive into a little bit about what leadership looks like and why it's important. And then really, how do we build a team? Because being a leader is not about you, it's about the team that you lead, right? And so we're going to talk through what that looks like for you to lead effectively and lead in a way where people want to follow you. And then we're going to look at just leading through change. We all know we live in 2025 where change that's the only thing that's constant. And change is probably one of the most difficult things that we will go through as a leader and as a business, as an individual. No one likes change, but change is inevitable. And so we have to learn how to lead through that, okay? So, I'm gonna jump right in. Who am I, okay? I'm a guy from Hickory. Like Lou said, we grew up here. We've known each other since we were 15 years old. Grew up here, I was born in Laos, so my parents are here tonight. So everybody give a hand to my parents. Okay. I was one of the kids who had to escape through the Mekong River and in the jungles of Laos and made it here to the United States. And so, children we were all kids of immigrant parents, and we're just thankful for the foundation that they laid for us to come into this country and be able to have this vision of doing more and wanting more for our families and our future. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for that. Secondly, who am I? I'm a Christian. I thank my God every single day for the opportunities that He has blessed me with. There's nothing that I could have done that would not have come from what God has provided me with. Thirdly, I'm a husband. My wife is right here in the front row. Give her a hand. She and I have been together for almost 30 years. We celebrate 30 years this year. She's been with me, yeah, thank you. She's been with me from the very beginning, from like the early days of us as kids trying to figure out this thing called life together. And you know, when you're 17 years old, you're trying to figure out, what am I going to be when I grow up? That was always the question. What am I going to be when I grow up? And you know, the inspiration that my wife gave me to allow me to be more than I've ever thought about being, it's all attributed to her, so thank you. And then lastly, my kids. So two of my kids are here, so Gavin, Paige. Paige is 21, Gavin is almost 20. And then, yeah, so they are here hanging out with us tonight. My wife kind of joked earlier, she's like, we shouldn't sit in the front row because we see you all the time, and that's like, you guys don't listen to me anyway, so you guys can go sit over there. But no, it's great to have them here. And then I have my oldest daughter, she's 26, she's married, and I have 2 grandkids with them. And so, guys in the room, folks in the room that are not grandparents yet, man, it is amazing, okay? It is amazing. Luke and I was just talking about it, like, your kids, when you're raising them, when I was raising these guys, we were poor, we were broke, okay? And so we didn't get to spend a ton of time with them, but now as we, you know, a little bit more successful, a little bit better, we get to spend more time with our grandkids, and guys, it is amazing, okay? So that's who I am personally, okay? Like Luke said, grew up here in Hickory, you know, kind of bounced all over the southeast United States, and then, you know, obviously landed back here around 9 years ago. We moved away for a bunch of years and then came back, okay? So that's who I am. So we're gonna talk about leadership, all right? And so before I do that, kind of give you my background on why I'm up here. So I started with Walmart when I was 17 years old. So kid in high school, my first job was, some of you guys probably won't remember, but Dragon King on Highway 7. That was my first job. And my parents got me that first job. We were eating in there in the buffet, and Gilbert came out, and my dad's like, this guy needs a job. I was 14 years old, okay? So Gilbert hires me, I'm a dishwasher, making $4 an hour. That was big money back then. That was 1994, okay? A lot of money back in 1994, cash, okay? So, so that job taught me the importance of hard work. When the buffet industry hit America, people ate a lot. We washed a lot of dishes, okay? And so it taught me how to really work hard. And so I carried that into everything I do now, okay? So started at 17 at Walmart, and again, my wife and I, we got married real young, and so we were together, and so at 17 years old, I'm a kid, I walk into this store, and my father-in-law dropped me off, and I'll never forget this. He said, man, how is that guy going to do in there? He doesn't talk. Like, I'm not, if you guys look at me, you guys probably think like I like to talk, I'm an extrovert. I'm actually not, I'm more of an introvert. And he was like, we dropped you off, like, not really knowing if you knew how to go talk to me got people. So I was like, good vote of confidence. But, you know, so 17 years old, I finished high school in Plant City, Florida, got accepted to a full ride in pharmacy school. So back in my days, in the 90s, the only options that you had were doctor, lawyer, engineer, pharmacist, right? Those were like the goals of our parents. And they were great goals, right? They're amazing goals because they saw those as successful jobs that we could have. And so I applied for pharmacy school, got accepted, everyone was happy. So we moved to Tallahassee, Florida, and transferred up there with Walmart. And about 2 years in, I started looking around, and I was like, man, that's not really fun what they do. I actually like talking to people. I actually like what I'm doing. And so I started looking around and started seeing what my managers did. And so some really good mentors of mine, they started talking to me and said, hey, we think you can do a little bit more than what you're doing, right? So I'm a 19-year-old kid at this point, and they said, we think you can do more. And so from that moment, we started thinking through, okay, what's this gonna look like for me to do more? So at 19 years old, I became a dad, right? So again, back in the days, that was like kind of normal, right? Like we were young. So at 19 years old now, I'm figuring out, man, what do I do? How do I do school? How do I work? What do I do? And so we made the decision to like forego school and then kind of lead into Walmart as a full-time gig. So we moved up here to North Carolina from Florida. I came to the one in Hickory there. So if you guys remember, it was a smaller Walmart back then. So I worked my way up, and again, everybody said, man, we think you could do more. And so my inspiration, like this is a crazy funny thing, but my inspiration to be a assistant manager at that time, they were making $38,000 a year, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so much money, right? And the kicker was, they got to carry a walkie-talkie and drive the forklift. That was like my thing. I was like, I want to do that, okay? I want to do that. That's amazing. And so I started asking, hey, how do I become you? What do I need to do to become you? And so I was talking to Rick earlier, like, you have to be curious. You have to put your hand up and say, I want to do more. If not, no one's going to hand you a promotion. No one's going to hand you assignments. You have to raise your hand, okay? So I started talking to them, and they said, hey, well, to do that, you have to show up more, you have to do more, you have to actually do some hard work, right? So I was like, all right, that's me, I got it. So got promoted, became an assistant manager, did that for 4 years, worked all over the place. Most days consisted of like 7 o'clock in the morning to 11 at night, turning right around, coming back at 7 o'clock in the morning, doing it all over again. Did third shift for a year, raised my kids doing third shift, and so did that for about 4 years. And again, one of my mentors said, hey, I think you could do more, okay? I think you could do more. And so I moved up, got my first store at the age of 29 in Virginia. So here I am, a 29-year-old kid running a store. $85 million a year, doing annual volume. I had about 300 people. This was a small little town in South Boston, Virginia. So we had to move from our family into an unfamiliar place and be amongst people that we had nothing in common with, okay? So my first leadership lesson that I learned in that store was you don't know it all. You walk in there, you're 29 years old, these folks are like way older, they know more, and you're trying to go tell them what to do. Right, and so I'll talk a little bit more about it in a little bit, but like that was my first lesson. I was like, man, how am I gonna do this? I had to like go back and reinvent and figure out how to actually be a leader. Because up to this point, I was a pretty good manager, but I was not a good leader. Okay, so there's a huge difference in being a manager and a leader. Okay, so in Virginia, I was there for about a year and a half, and then received my next promotion out to Morehead City, North Carolina. Lived at the beach for about 5 years. Loved it out there. Amazing community, amazing store. Never saw the beach. My wife and kids saw the beach, but I wasn't there, right? I worked. And so an opportunity came up for me to come back home. The district in Charlotte opened up, and so I got a promotion to come back home. And so at this point, I'm running 10 Walmart stores, doing around $900 million in annual revenue with about 2,500 people. Okay, so I'm like, man, this is it. This is my dreams. So about 5 years into that, I was like, man, I'm getting burned out. Okay, getting burned out. I gotta do something different. So I took a step back, went back to running a store, and then kind of the jumping around happened, right? So I got contacted by Lowe's. They're like, hey, why don't you come run the store for us? We've got some big plans for you. So I went with them for a little bit, and then Petco called me up and said, hey, we got a district for you. Why don't you come and do that for us? And then did that for about 2 years, and then my current job, Dollar General, recruiter called me and said, hey, listen, we got a job right in your backyard. You want it? You know, it's a regional director position. You'll have 210 stores. You will supervise 11 district managers and support around 3,500 people. I was like, got it, I like it. So I've been doing that for about 6 months, and I've learned so much doing that again, we think we know what we're doing until we get into that next role, and you really get blindsided, right? Mike Tyson says, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face, right? When you get punched in the face, those plans go out the window because you forget about it, okay? So that's kind of like my history, my work career, and a little bit about what brought us here, okay? So what is leadership? All right, I want you guys to, at your table, really think through, what is a good leader? Who in your life have you seen as a good leader? And I just want to hear a few things. What makes a good leader in your eyes? Okay, so kind of just talk around your table, and then I'd love to hear just a couple of examples or a couple of characteristics of a good leader. All right, we got any? We got a couple? What about this table right here? Okay, get your feet dirty with your teammates, okay? Humility, okay? We'll talk about that, okay? All right, what about that back table? That table right there. Yes, Dr. Ray. Take ownership, absolutely, okay? Stephen Koo, your table. Charisma, absolutely.